All right, guys. So I was super excited about doing this session. So I decided that I was going to go do a session with Amanda. Say hi, Amanda.
Hi. Actually, we're going to switch it up a little bit and I'll be asking the questions.
You're going to interview me?
Yes.
Guys, this was not planned. I had tons of people lined up and I honestly just wanted to interview Amanda, but I think we're just going to roll with it. All right, it's Session with Amanda. What do you got?
Session with Amanda. Okay, so I have a few questions for you that I had planned out from some people from Facebook, from Growth Group, and also some questions that I wanted to ask. But I want to start off by asking you, for those of you who are watching our YouTube videos and who don't know this, how did you get into the pest control industry?
Wow. Wow. So you actually have like planned out questions for me?
I do.
Holy shit. Okay. So it was really funny. So I got into this industry years and years ago, and I was actually in corporate sales for Cintas. And fortunately, I did a good job. I was number one in the nation. And my operations manager actually approached me and said, hey, do you want to go start a pest control company? And honestly, we looked at a couple of industries and I had never really ran a business before. And ultimately we went and did our research, and next thing I know, I owned a pest control company. And the funny thing is I was the number one sales rep in the nation at Cintas at the time. I just won President's Club, and I made—
Let us forget it.
I won President. It's a long ways down the road. But the thing was, it was really funny is, you know, I was a salesperson, and so I used to make a bunch of money and spend all my money, right? So I didn't really have a bunch of money, and I knew that I was going to have to go talk to Summer about this. And the way they incentivized me is, I remember he walked up to me with a paper bag with $2,500 in it of $1 bills and handed it to me and said, you can do this. And I'm looking at it just like, this is going to be a fun night out. Yeah, I was like, this is going to be a great night out. And I was like, and so anyway, ultimately when I went and spoke to Summer about it and we decided to get into it, that was actually when it closed. And I was like, I got a whole bunch of money. And she's like, yeah, it's a whole bunch of $1 bills. And this was way before we were all high maintenance and bougie bullshit. So, but that's how I got into it. It was pretty awesome.
Well, what were some of the other industries? You mentioned that there were some other ones. What were some of those?
That we looked at? Yeah. So we looked at a bunch. So our what we wanted to do, and now understand, guys, this was in late 2007. So it was way before some of the advancements that's happened in the world today. But what we wanted is a recurring revenue business, okay, that had hunter-driven sales, that had very low barriers to entry. That was our criteria. Right. We didn't really know much. We didn't really think about margin too much. We just knew that we wanted recurring revenue. Coming from a Cintas background, that's what we wanted to do. My previous business partner was in the paper shredding business, which was recurring revenue, right? And so we just knew we wanted to do that. And so we looked at a bunch. It was over 20 different industries, but the other one that we almost fell on was the dry cleaner at your door. And so that was big time years ago. This was way before you were born, but it was dry cleaners at your door. So there was a service that you basically would have your dry cleaning, you'd hang it out on your front door, and people would pick it up on a weekly basis, right?
Like milk bottles.
Just like milk bottles. I remember when I used to pick on milk bottles up.
Okay, so the dry cleaning business that you said.
Yeah, there was a bunch. We thought about paper shredding because obviously I sold paper shredding and I was at Cintas for a while. He came from that. One of my partner had come from that business. We looked at grass mowing, interesting business. We looked at pool company, which was an interesting business. But all these basic businesses, like nothing complicated, because we knew we knew that we could sell. Like we knew that we could sell, right. And and from there we had to figure it out. But we ended up falling in pest control, and frankly, like I'm sitting back here now. Gosh, I don't know what is it, 16, 17 years later, and I'm like, holy shit, right? But that's what happened.
Okay, so that leads me into my next question. Like, if you were in pest control, and I know we just talked about a few different industries, but like if you weren't in pest control, what industry would you go into right now?
Like today?
Today.
Wow. I mean, I love pest control.
I know you do.
Yeah, I mean, this is the only thing I really ever think about. Yeah. I guess like if somebody came to me and said, hey, Seth, you have to go to work, right? You have to go to work. I mean, ultimately, I would just go back to what I was doing as a head of revenue in the tech world. I mean, I'm good. I was good at it, honestly. And fortunately, I grew up in the time when a head of revenue or chief revenue officer was brand new. And so I did have the building blocks of that through my career. So, you look at the world today and you say, hey, what's a chief revenue officer? I was actually asked this by an investment bank yesterday. And the way that people look at a head of revenue is much different. And so when you have been brought up in a classic world of that, when you were part of the very first group, is you tend to have a really good set of building blocks around it. And so I probably would go back into that, because if I wasn't doing this, I would just go do something to make money. And that's what I would go do. I'd go build another tech company, sell another tech company, and be miserable out of my mind and want to stab myself in the eyeballs. But that's probably what I would do.
Well, I know you love what you do every single day.
Every day.
Yeah, so that's incredible. Okay, what was your favorite bug to kill when you were in pest control?
These are the questions people are asking you to ask me?
No.
Or are you making these up?
Some of these are mine, some of these are other people's.
I mean, like, let's be really honest. My favorite bug to kill was when I didn't have to kill any bugs at all. And I just had them run their credit card every single month. But if I had to say, what would my favorite bug to kill? So most people don't know this, but I was, one of my core expertise is in actually the mosquito industry, like mosquito management and then fly control. I'm actually, I mean, back then, I'm sure things have changed, but I was a subject matter expert. I loved doing mosquito service because we were the innovator. My company was. We were one of the first ones to ever do it, and I got obsessed with it. And so I got obsessed with it. That was probably my favorite because like we were so far ahead of the industry. I wish, looking back, if I would have just stayed in that world, we probably would have been the industry-leading mosquito company. But I sold the business. So.
Well, also I'm thinking in Florida too. It's probably like
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, here's a question from somebody. Won't name any names. From Growth Group. Why always the black shirts? I bet you could guess who it is.
I don't know, but I could probably guess. Who was it?
Paul Alley.
Hey, Paul. Thanks, bro. So listen, here was the thing: is the black T-shirt thing wasn't by design, and so originally when I started this, like I was wearing different color T-shirts, and ultimately what happened was it just became easier, and then it became like people kept talking about it, and then I was like, well, it's just a lot easier for me. And then I realized that when I would go out at night with my wife, or I'm going out on the weekends or whatever, is I could pull it off without having to get dressed up. And so at the end of the day, it was actually really an ease of use. And people were like, oh, you must have listened to, Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg. And I was like, no, I actually just kept wearing black T-shirts, and my wife didn't get pissed at me. And so I kept wearing them, and then it became like a thing. And so now it's actually it's all I actually wear.
Right.
So,
I don't think I've ever seen you in anything other. Well,
one time.
Not me. I know you wore a white shirt one time.
Yep.
But I wasn't there. The team was talking about when you were wearing blue jeans or blue pants or something. Yeah, the other day.
Yep.
And I was like, I completely forgot about that. So you brought some color into your wardrobe.
Summer's making me buy some of that stuff. But yeah, so in the last year, I have worn a white shirt once. And I wore this like white linen shirt, and I felt it was weird because like it used to be like something I could wear. And now it's so uncomfortable. I feel so awkward that like I have to change my clothes like 5 times. Like I had to change my clothes. I put on like 3 different black T-shirts. One was a different shade. Summer got mad. She's like, you need to wear this white shirt. And that's what I did finally. And I looked at pictures and I was like, I look weird now. So I think inevitably, like I'm like, after we go and retire and never do this again, I probably am just gonna wear old black T-shirts because I probably want to spend money on buying new ones.
Yeah, well, how many black T-shirts do you have now?
I buy new ones all the time. So I mean, I buy one brand, and I usually have about 16 at any given time. And then the second they get like a little faded, like
they're out of here.
Yeah, and it's kind of a bad thing right now. I mean, in all honesty, there's a men's store that I buy them from, and it's hilarious because like Summer will go with me, but like I'll call ahead. And they literally answer the phone to say, hey, Seth, hey, 5 or 6? And that's literally the discussion. And that's how it goes. Yeah. And so like she'll come down to the store with me from time to time, and we'll go in and they'll try to upsell me on something else. Like, hey, wear this gray jacket, whatever. Like it just.
You're like, do you know who you're talking to?
Yeah, they do, right? And she's always like, you look so nice now. And I'm like, it's just gonna be the way it's gonna be.
Okay.
That's a long definition of a black T-shirt.
Yeah. All right. I have a hard question for you.
Oh my God.
A very hard question.
Oh man. No, you cannot have a raise, Amanda. Oh, sorry.
Damn. Who is your favorite team member?
What?
Had to get this on camera, guys.
Like she really thinks I'm just gonna answer her. I don't think I have a favorite team member, honestly. I can't. Honestly, I feel really fortunate. Like this is gonna be so politically correct, but I feel really fortunate because I think that this crazy idea of how I decided I want to try to build this like business, this like like feel good, cool business.
Yeah.
I think that by kind of owning that, even though there's a million reasons why no one would ever want to run a business the way that we're running a business right now, is that I think that everyone is like bought into like the belief system now. And so I think that I don't think that's a question of favorites. I think it's more of, I think about like who is actually owning the real vision more and more and more, right? And so I could probably go like week over week over week over week on who is like owning it more, who believes in it. Like look, I know for sure that if I ask Peyton to get on a call to do work on a Saturday, I know for sure she's gonna tell me she wants to be on a fucking boat, right? Yeah. So I know, and I'm totally cool with it. I know for sure that if I throw something crazy at Kelly's gonna get super cranky with me. I know that, so I try not to do it. I know for you that sometimes like I am a little direct, and I know immediately 2 seconds afterwards you're wondering if I'm okay. like you know, and everybody else on the team. I mean, I could go on and on and on. Yeah. I know for Jamie that if I need her to do something, that all I have to do is tell her to swing by the house and give her a bottle of wine, and she's in. And I could go through everyone in the team, but yeah. that's the reality, right?
I just wanted to make you feel a little uncomfortable there.
Yeah, I get it. Dude, should I tell it? No, I'm not going to go there.
Okay, so here's another hard question. I'm wondering this.
Yep.
I'm sure everybody else is wondering this. How do you relax?
Wow, what a good question that is. I guess relax is kind of a loaded question for me. So, because for most people, the idea of relax means hang out, sit on a couch, watch TV, whatever the case may be, right? Like, I think for me, level of relaxation has to be like intense for me. And so it doesn't have to be, I have to be working, but it always has to be something, right? You know, like as in today, and this is like, it almost has to be something that's like, it almost has to be almost like an adrenaline component. Like if you guys, like I walked in here today and like, so tomorrow as an example, like Summer's out of town. I don't have Ash all day. I've got quite a few projects at work. We've got some work to do tomorrow, but like tomorrow I'm going to go take machine guns out and go blow something up. Right. Like that's what I'm actually going to do. And so when I said that today, everyone was like, are you crazy? Yeah. But like, yeah, like that's actually what I'm going to do. So tomorrow I'm going to go blow it up by AR-15s. And I'm gonna go out and shoot a bunch of targets, right? To me, that's like fun, but it doesn't have to be shooting guns. It has to be something. For me, what helps me relax is do something that's like cool and fun, and like that way I can like look in the mirror and be like, I did a guy thing today. But that's how I relax. I can't sit there and watch movies and TV. And yeah, I mean, I'm really good at hanging out by a pool. Yeah, for like 15 minutes.
And then you're like, okay, let's do something.
You got to do something. I mean, you've traveled with me for over 2 years now. I mean, like, it's always got to be going.
Yeah, always going.
Yeah, so that's how I relax too.
Well,
and I love it, by the way.
Well, speaking of like maybe hobbies or interests or things that you like to do, what is your favorite hobby? Wow. Like favorite as in? Like what's something that you would do every single day, or just, you know, something that you really enjoy doing? Yeah. Other than shooting guns.
Yes, this is going to be an interesting one. So I think you know this, but I'm not sure a lot of people know this. So I'm a pretty avid art collector. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I actually really enjoy doing is I really enjoy reading the art type that I like. I tend to like to read the ancient history behind it. And I actually do that almost every single day. And most people don't know that. And because it's just something I do for me, I could care less to talk about it. Right. I would say that taking a step back, like it's probably my favorite thing to do is learn something interesting. The other favorite hobby I have is I'm obsessed with aliens. So, which I don't know if I think you do know that. I do know that. I am a super believer in the ancient alien theory. I believe that everything an ancient alien theorist believes, I believe 100%. Yeah. So
you'll watch a show about aliens?
I mean, I have never missed a show of ancient aliens. Like, I'm a believer in Area 51. Like, I do think that there's a million different things that we've never talked about that that people know that we don't know. Like, you know, I was getting made fun of a week ago by Summer because I'm going to buy VIP tickets to the ancient alien like tour. Oh God. And so I'm gonna go meet George Sucros. Like I'm gonna go hang out with him. Oh my God. I'm all in. So but you're completely those are some fun stuff. Yeah. Okay, totally bought it. Awesome.
Well, do you have any questions for me?
Those are the hard questions? You don't have anything else that's
No, I
tough?
thought that. No, I didn't think I was gonna ask you any hard questions. Just some stuff to get to know you and like just the other side of Seth, right? Because you see the.
I mean, do you want a hard question?
Oh God, sure.
Here comes the hard question. So what's the date Jesse's gonna ask you to get married? Oh boy. Jesse probably won't watch this.
Yeah, I'll send it to him. Like, fast forward to 10 minutes and 3 seconds.
All right, so what's the date?
I'm gonna guess next year sometime, like next fall.
Jesse, since Amanda decided to do this to me, we just put you on spot. So next fall, we're looking forward to seeing you on Session with Seth with a ring on. I mean, you might have to ask him to. You might have to do it.
I'll do it if it comes down to it. I'll do it.
I mean, I feel like that's a good sticker.
Oh God.
So, what other questions do you have for me?
I don't have any other questions for you.
Nothing?
Nope.
All right, well, I appreciate you taking over the session, considering this wasn't planned at all. And hopefully people think this is hilariously funny.
Yeah.
So cool. Y'all have fun. We'll see you guys at a conference soon. That was good. You did great.
Oh God, I'm like, my armpits are so sweaty right now.
That is fucking disgusting.